Hi, beautiful souls. I hope all is going well. I'm here to talk to you today about the difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. So, as you can see on my little board, please don't pick at it. This is bipolar 1, and down here, this is bipolar 2. So, what I like to do is I like to call bipolar 1 the North Pole, like pretending we're at the North Pole, right? And then I like to call bipolar 2 the South Pole. And in the middle, this is what we will probably call, society will say, normal. And then right here, this will be the depressive episode, okay? So so I just want you to take a good look at the board again, because I'm gonna put it down. I'll put it back up again. But okay, so we got the North Pole, bipolar 1, and the South Pole is bipolar 2. Always note that in bipolar 1, North poles go all the way down south. It hits the whole thing. So with bipolar 1, you're going to have one manic or hypomanic episode, and then you're going to have one major depressive episode, right? So we're hitting all of them. That's all of this coming down here. And then in bipolar 2, you're going to have a major depressive episode and one hypomanic episode, which means that it never gets to a manic episode. We're never going to get up here to the North Pole. The South Pole, bipolar 2, never gets up to a manic episode. And that's the difference between the two, okay? I'm going to just go over the surface, because bipolar is a very complex disorder. But I think people need to understand. I hear a lot of loose words come out of people's mouth when they're saying, oh, you're bipolar, you must have bipolar. That is mental health is very serious. And you never know who is struggling with this. And probably some people are struggling with this and do not know. I really hope this is helpful. So I know some of these names I'm not giving you, you probably don't understand. And I also want you to know that other symptoms that comes along with bipolar is psychosis. You may have anxious distress and other things, but psychosis is really big, and I want to touch bases on it. So let's just talk a little bit about what the symptoms look like, okay? So if we start with bipolar 1, and you're dealing with someone and they're in their manic or their manic stage, you're going to see this person having an increased activity. They want to go places all the time. They want to do things. They have a lot of energy. They can have about an hour of sleep and wake up and as if they had 8 hours of sleep. And they feel like they don't have a need to sleep. And a lot of times, and we'll get to the risky behavior parts, if they're on drugs or doing other things, that kind of goes into it too, especially depending on the drugs that they're taking. Then no, they're really not going to sleep. Some sleep a little bit, but some don't sleep at all. Okay, they have an exaggerated sense of self, and they have a lot of self-confidence. They feel like they can do it all. And if you throw in a psychosis in there, and we'll talk about that later in the video, if you throw that in there, that can be pretty detrimental, because this person could lose his or her job. This person could have all kinds of other things happening to them, which would cause them to be hospitalized, or typically hospitalized, because at that point, you never know what type of behaviors they may exhibit that could cause them to be hospitalized. They have unusual talks, like they talk very fast, pressured speech. You're listening to them and you're trying to keep up with what they're saying, and they're talking very, very fast, and they switch subjects very fast as well. And they engage in a lot of activities, so much activity that you cannot complete in one day. And so that is another thing that you would know with mania. I'm trying to give just some, not all. A lot of racing thoughts. Some call it poor decision making. I'm going to call it risky behaviors. When a person is going through their manic stage, they engage in a lot of risky behavior. What does that look like? That can look like gambling, a lot of sexual partners, unprotected. They make a lot of investments. They are clearing out credit cards. I have witnessed people buying cars when they shouldn't have. I have witnessed people, just doing things, buying sprees, just spending up all the money. And then when they come down off of this, there is no money. There's no nothing. You don't know if this person have an STD. You don't know what's going on, what's been happening, because they were in a manic stage, right? And a lot of times they say manic or mania, whatever word you want to use for it, they say that it lasts between 2 to 4 months, that it can last that long. And then we're going to move down to depression. So you have depression, major depression disorder. And so this can be a person that they can't sleep, or they're sleeping too much. 9 times out of 10, what I've seen is they're sleeping a lot. They're sleeping a lot. They are very fatigued. They don't have a lot of energy, and that's understandable, because if they are making those poor decision making or risky behaviors, drugs is involved. So they do have suicide attempts, suicide planning, significant weight loss or weight gain. And they don't have interest in doing anything. You may have a mother, or you may have your parents or someone. They may want to talk to you, and they just don't want to be bothered. They just want to sleep, or just they withdraw from family members. They don't want to talk. If you guys ever seen the show Shameless, then you will see the mom that's on there. She has bipolar, and it really gives a good description of it, because 1 minute you're all together and you're good, and then the next minute it's like she's hyper, she's happy, that fun mom doing all kind of things, knocking down walls and all that other stuff. And then what happened? She crashed. We went to the South Pole. And what did she do? She didn't want to be bothered, she didn't want to talk, or she'll just get in the car and leave and go with her friends, So that's an example of, this is, with us being in bipolar 1. And bipolar 1, sometimes if, you need your medication for this, because it is hard for you to maintain a job or anything, because because of the mood swings, or the episodes, and the process that it goes through, especially if psychosis is involved as well. So let's take a look at bipolar 2. Bipolar 2, again, we never get up to the point where we are manic. So you are never going to have a manic episode. And so with bipolar 2, you are experiencing major depression, or hypomanic. You will experience those two. And with the depression on both of them, depression can last up to 8 months. But they are still able to kind of still make it. You still need medication for it, but you are able to make it, and kind of maneuver your way around, have a job, and still be stable. I don't like to. Bipolar 2 can be a little bit milder than bipolar 1, as you can see. And let's talk about the psychosis. So when we're talking about psychosis, if you're having bipolar disorder and it's added with a psychosis, you have hallucinations. That's one of them. It's a lot of them, but I'm going to name just some. So we have hallucination. And with hallucination, you either have auditory hallucination. That means that you are hearing voices. The voices could be telling you good things. The voices could be telling you bad things. And when we have auditory hallucinations as therapists, psychiatrists, or anything, we really want to know, are you having auditory hallucination with command, meaning that the voices are telling you to do something to yourself or someone else, or you are having auditory hallucination without command? Then you have visual hallucination. Visual hallucination is when you are seeing things. That's why it's called visual hallucination, because you are seeing things that are not there. You also, sometimes some people experience suspiciousness, like they're very suspicious. They don't trust people too much, delusion, disorganized speech, withdrawal from families and friends. So those are some psychosis. Okay, bipolar is very complex. Remember, I told you that. So those are the difference between, bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. So anytime you think about that, you think about the North Pole and the South Pole, okay? Some risk factors that involves bipolar could be you having close relatives who are who has it, such as your mom or your siblings or something like that. Another one could be drugs or alcohol abuse. Another one could be like when you're very high stress levels, molested as a child, a lot of trauma, a lot of deaths, a lot of things that are stressing you can cause bipolar. Those are just some, are known as some risk factors. So those are just some of the information that I do have for you. If you do want more information about bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, you can definitely go on my website and request me to give you a call. That is swanstherapeuticservices.com. Or you can leave a comment below. You can always go in my inbox. I am more than willing to talk with you. And, I just really ask that you guys be gentle with yourself and be very careful when you're speaking and talking about a person with a mental illness. It's very serious and it's nothing to play with. And if you are a person that is experiencing bipolar in any way, form, or fashion, please continue to take your medication. Most times when you begin to feel good, you stop taking the meds, and that's the big no-no. We have to keep taking the medication. So you feel good, I don't need this medication, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm doing well, which is probably fine, but it's the medication that is helping you. So when you stop taking the medication, it really, really messes up the whole treatment process. I hope this information was good for you. I hope that you learned something today, and I look forward to our next video. Have a wonderful one. Thank you. Here we go.